Athletes rise, remove your hands and join Calgary's own country recording artist Jake Matthews, accompanied by Flames organist Willie Jewson and members of the Calgary Fire Department in the singing of our Canadian national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you, Jake Matthews and Willie Jewson. Welcome back, Flames fans and season ticket holders. Welcome back to the Battle of Alberta.
The Saddle Dome in Calgary, home to so many magical battles over the years against their provincial rivals, the Edmonton Oilers.
Entering the slider.
Cam Talbot starts tonight for Edmonton. He's faced an average of 28 shots on goal in his 3 starts this season, about the same average he faced with the Rangers last year in 34 starts. Jonas Hiller will start for Calgary with a career 17-4-1 mark against Edmonton. You know, the great rivalry between these two teams has been somewhat hollow in recent years because both teams have not been as competitive as in the glory days of the 80s, but young players like Connor McDavid, the most lauded player to emerge from junior hockey to the NHL since Sidney Crosby, and Johnny Gaudreau, one of the most exciting and captivating young players in the league, could play big roles in re-energizing the once great rivalry. Let's hope so. We're underway. Great to have you with us wherever you're looking in, coast to coast. Paul Romanek with Mike Johnson and Cassie Campbell Passer. Oilers looking for their first win of the season. And Schultz slides it back. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins shovels the puck in. He will race up there. There have been some adjustments on the Edmonton side in case you missed it. Sam Bennett, who played a fine game last night for the Flames, not in the lineup tonight. So that will affect the Flames' offensive triumvirates. We'll see how Bob Hartley juggles things around. Puck played up and tapped in.
Bob Hartley immediately saying we're playing our top pairing against Nugent-Hopkins and not against McDavid. We're down to him out there to start the game.
Puck rolls around. Monahan couldn't get it out. Puck comes right out in front of the net park. There was Yakupov, and right there to make the stop was Hiller.
Good opportunity early on. Out there to start the game.
Puck rolls around. Monahan couldn't get it out. Puck comes right out in front of the net park. There was Yakupov, and right there to make the stop was Hiller.
First shot.
Good opportunity early on there for Nail Yakupov.
Hiller.
About 50 seconds in.
Good opportunity early on there for Nail Yakupov as he just misfired on a bouncing puck. There's one you have to get out of the zone if you're Sean Monahan. Better job than that because Nail Yakupov, although the puck a little bit in front of him, tough to get everything on it, misfired on that one.
And Connor McDavid out there, number 97 for the...
You have to get out of the zone if you're Sean Monahan. Better job than that because Yakupov, although the puck a little bit in front of him, tough to get everything on it, misfired on that one.
And Connor McDavid out there, number 97 for the Oilers, scoring his first NHL goal the other night against St. Louis. This is Monahan with it, fires it across in front of the net. Back the other way, here comes McDavid, drops it back. He drifts down towards the goal, puck comes out in front, Pouliot took a stab at it. And the puck knocked away, McDavid out there with Yakupov and Pouliot. That's the threesome. Meanwhile, In there deep, he's up there with Goudreau and Hoodler. Puck rolls around, pardon me, Jones is out there, the third forward. Puck moved up ahead. Miller out to play. And just tapped in deep by Station. Puck chipped up. Station couldn't knock it down. Gryba plays it in. Kulak works it over. Perland on the way up the middle. Pass crisply on the backhand. He'll get a chance. And as he pulled it to the backhand, couldn't quite stuff it home. But he gets taped in the corner. Battles his way back towards the slot, but was overcome. Nice little chance there for Michael Perland, who took a lovely long stretch pass just outside the blue line. Granlund taking the pass there. He will chase it in. Granlund playing in his first game of the season, trying to pick up that puck in front, but it's turned over, and the Oilers will start back. Klinkhammer flicks it in. Back checking is Juris, sends it up around the boards. This is Weidman. Bowling. Trying to ricochet it against the wall. Letestu guarding him, and he will chase it towards the corner. Knocked away, though, by Weidman. Weidman plays a little catch there with Russell, and here comes Russell. Up along the wing, Granlund couldn't handle the pass. Back in, Pouliot drops it off. Puck knifed across. McDavid catches up with it here. Here's McDavid. Comes away, taps it down, looks for the return feed, bashes one on goal. Nice stop there by Hiller. Good chance for McDavid. And you can see it already if you've watched him this year, and of course if you watched him in junior hockey, he finds the space like all great offensive players.
And he gets there in a hurry, as fast as anybody in the league, with and without the puck.
Use whatever bit of description you want. The puck follows him, he finds the space, whatever, he's got it. This is Hall, twisting and turning in the corner. Hall slides it down, Nugent Hopkins, all the way back out, slides it back, Gryba shoots, ricochets off his skate. This is Hall with it, up behind the goal, Nugent Hopkins, dancing along the boards, tucks it up around back of the net, Hall couldn't get to it, and it's cleared around the boards down the ice, and this will be an icing call on the Flames. Nice pace out of the gate to this one.
Scrutinize anybody. Connor McDavid get a little taste of what he can do in this game, jumping on loose pucks, so quick with his edges, but not afraid to get to the front of the net either, or beat Dougie Hamilton to it, and then back to the front with a good look. And this one came right in front of me at warp speed, and he gets so far in front of his line mates, he's got to slow down, let them catch up at times, because he's just that fast.
Puck fired up off the glass, knocked in from the right point by Schultz. Purcell after it, bumping into Crowley. Giordano, long pass up ahead. Giordano played, in the estimation of his coach, his best game of the season last night in Winnipeg, despite the fact that they lost.
And he's going to be skating and be challenged because Connor McDavid is one of the fastest guys in the league. But where he needs the puck is lower, and he's so quick. If he doesn't get it early, he gets it too late, like right there. He wants it at the blue line, because when he gets it low and is able to create a bit of a gap with that speed, that's Pietrangelo and Bouwmeester that he splits for a chance. And we talked to Tom McClellan this morning. He said sometimes McDavid will have to slow himself down to get the puck in that pocket where then he can accelerate with it. But he gets going so fast, and they can't move the puck fast enough to him. He loses the space he's trying to create.
Monahan, Goodler, and Goudreau out there for the Flames. And the puck face-off will come back down into the Oilers zone. Every family is a drama. Watch the heartfelt new series, This Life, Monday at 9 on CBC.
A little discussion going on the ice right there as Edmonton was trying to argue that face-off should be outside the blue line. And both coaches realizing that points are at a premium. They both are young teams looking to continue to get better. Flames building off what they did last year. Edmonton still trying to build a foundation that they can grow with.
A little subtlety to watch for on the draws, by the way, if you haven't followed it. Here's Hoodler, taps it back. Knocked down, Hamilton, another swipe at it. I'll get to that in a second. a slight adjustment to the rules the NHL made in the offseason. Basically, the guy with his back towards the boards, so the defensive player, has to put his stick on the ice first. The two centers.
Used to be home team got to put their stick down second, which is an advantage. Because you're coming in with momentum. Now it's the offensive player who gets to put his stick down second.
Here's Gaudreau. He's got some room. Little spin move, dropped it back, and Station coming up to join the play. Couldn't land the payload on the target that time. Comes after along the boards. Battling Sekera. Tapped up, Pouliot with it. Puck snapped across, picked up here by Russell. Looks over to Weidman. Decides to hang on to it. And he will start off. Verland up the middle. Russell looking at him. He'll just fire it in. This is Payne. Plays it back.
Good pace down in this game to start, Paul. Both teams changing quick, skating hard. It's a nice tempo to it.
Are you feeling it down there between the benches?
Gastic and Engelland are about to feel it. Right on cue.
Right down. You got a great look at this as they skate to center. .54 to go in the first period, and no score in this one yet. From Calgary, you're watching Hockey Night in Canada. 5 each for fight. 13:54 to go in the first period, and no score in this one yet. From Calgary, you're watching Hockey Night in Canada. 5 each for fighting. Of more significance, Sam Bennett not in the lineup tonight for Calgary with an upper body injury. Mike,
and he will be missed because they're looking for second line scoring. They finally got a good second line performance, and this is all the contact that we could really find last night against Winnipeg. It's thought to be an upper body injury for Sam Bennett, but they're looking for some consistency to add some depth scoring to help out the number one line. They liked what they saw last night, and then immediately Sam Bennett injured, not able to go and follow it up tonight. And he robbed, he wanted to play this game because as a childhood friend and former teammate Connor McDavid, he wants to go up against his good pal in the NHL.
Nugent Hopkins coming up to take the face off. Nugent Hopkins, Mike, a guy who's almost kind of
under the radar.
Yes.
As a first overall. It's all about Yakupov and Hall and, of course, McDavid. But Nugent Hopkins really developed last year into an all-around centerman in the NHL. Still has a ways to go on faceoffs, but played big minutes, all situations, and is a really good player who's gotten almost lost in the shuffle of Connor McDavid.
He was second in the NHL in average ice time amongst all forwards.
Part of that is a force of necessity because who else is available in Edmonton.
And here's Nugent Hopkins coming off the boards. Couldn't land it on target. Hall gets it back of the net. Puck tapped towards the front. Sneaking well up there is Greiba. Well in. And he's got it here. Slides it all the way back for Hendricks. Works it across. Wrist shot doesn't make it through. That was Reinhart trying to get it through. And back the other way comes Raymond. Moving in. Raymond cuts in. Tried to flip it across in front, and the play is dissolved. And Greiba back the other way.
You want to watch Hopkins to play 21 minutes late in the shift, in which he had the puck and worked hard. He able to track down Mason Raymond on the rush to force that 2-on-1. Good back check.
Genetics. Great endurance. Gaudreau had the puck roll away from him. Russell, long pass up ahead. Stretch there looking for Hudler. Puck comes in front. Hudler pounced on it. And then the puck going up over the glass and out of play, but an unexpected bounce, and Hudler all over it.
And can't help but thinks that Sekera is going to win this icing race, but no, it pops out to Hudler. And then if you look at the Edmonton bench right now, they're not happy with this. There's a shot block for Frolik. No stick. Well done. All Ryan Nugent-Hopkins keeping his feet moving, leading with the stick, breaking up the play, and then making a good pass. And very well done, late into a shift. As the Oiler bench not pleased whatsoever with that non-icing call, as it's supposed to be a race to the hash marks, but I think Sekera had won, and Hoodler ended up with a pretty good chance because of it.
And they will line up and take the face-off again. Station taking the draw against Anton Lander.
Face-offs are a real issue for the Edmonton Oilers.
A lot of issues for the Oilers. Still looking for their first win of the year. A lot of work to be done, and it will be done. And they've got a great base, and I think they've got an excellent coach, Todd McClellan. Perland coming up. To the line, staging with him. Perland bulldozes through. Right back out, staging. Back for Russell. Here comes staging in offside.
When it comes to great tasting sausage, there's no name and no place quite like Johnsonville. Great sausage comes from here.
A staple of the neutral zone for the Calgary Flames is putting a couple of their wingers very high up there because Staging and Michael first line that's out there right now. Sean Monahan doing very well. That was Matt Staging and Michael Perland connecting to try to join the offensive zone with possession.
And Mike, a very stark contrast between the way the Flames handle the puck in their own zone and transition into that, and the way the Oilers don't, I guess.
Part of its system, part of its skill. And you have to have guys that can make quick decisions and good passes, and Edmonton is still looking to find that consistently for all their lineup.
Schultz plays it back. Driver along the boards, and that is an icing call on Edmonton. 11:15 to go in the first period.
So much made about all the young stars. Let's not forget about Johnny Gaudreau, and look what he does when the Flames win. And there are 46 wins with him in the lineup, 51 points, plus 36, and the 39 losses, not nearly as good, especially the minus 25. So as that first line goes and Johnny Gaudreau goes, so do the Flames.
Tied for the rookie scoring lead 1 year ago.
Well, you forget, he put up 64 points last year. I want to talk about how great Nugent-Hopkins and Hall and all these other guys for the Oilers are. It's Gaudreau who had the best rookie season offensively along with Mark Stone last year, including sitting out the last game in which he would have had a chance to win the rookie scoring race, which is a very unselfish move by him. Because he could have opted into that game, he could have asked to play it, to perhaps get himself atop the record book for history as the leading scorer that year, and he did what was best for him and the team by missing it.
Off the draw, Juris jabbing at it. Hiller up to play it. Kulak only played about 7 minutes last night.
Bob Hartley has absolutely no problem with that. He's going to roll his defensemen, his top two pairs, play them 25 minutes each, and spot duty Englund and Kulak. And as we talked to him this morning about it, and he just quoted the Chicago Blackhawks, who had no trouble playing 4D all the way to the Stanley Cup last year. And when TJ Brodie gets back, which they are missing desperately here in Calgary, then he'll almost have a 5-man rotation, and Derek Englund will get the spot duty.
When they get Brodie back, I really like the look of the Calgary defense. It stacks up well against, stacks up better than most teams in the league. And a healthy Giordano in the lineup.
All those guys have to work together and have good chemistry, and we haven't quite seen that out of Dougie Hamilton and Giordano just yet.
You wonder about that pairing, don't you?
I do. They haven't shown
Great chemistry. Not yet. Give it some time. Two immensely talented guys. Nugent-Hopkins off the post. Great wrist shot. He just flicked towards the goal and had Hiller beat. And now a penalty coming up, and it's going to go against the Oilers. But what a shot by Nugent-Hopkins.
Nugent-Hopkins brings one off the post. You can hear it pretty cleanly right here. Ding dong, and through all the traffic, Jonas Hiller doesn't see anything. Right by the feet of Giordano, through Hendricks and beats Hiller, but not the post, and Sekera gets caught up ice and stick just tangled up in the feet of Michael Frolik. Easy call, and the Flames go to the first power play of the night. That's a good screen from Matt Hendricks, exactly where he needs to go if he's going to play with Taylor Hall and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
I wasn't sure whether or not from the first angle we saw whether or not Hendricks may have gotten a piece of it, but nonetheless it didn't find its way in behind Hiller. Calgary Flames go to work in the power play. Sekera's in the penalty box. By the way, that's Andre Sekera. Has been Sekera the last few years, but he was asked and he says it's Sekera. Puck comes across. Monahan looking for it. Russell back to pick it up. Gaudreau easing his way towards the line. Takes the return feed. Monahan drifts towards the front of the net. They work it back. White. Russell sneaking in on the weak side. Puck down low. Over to Russell. Right up there. A couple of jams at it. Talbot was there with the stop both times. In back of the net, dipping and diving is Hudler. Out to the side. Hudler gets it back. Russell. Hudler trying to center it. It rolls around. Good job there by Russell to keep the drive alive, keep the pressure on. Flames power play. Monahan's in front. Weidman shooting just wide. Puck pops down back in the old drive up. All over it. Had enough room to ring it around and get them.
Hendricks is still that one checking his hand as he also made a glove save on that shot from Weidman deep into the hash marks to knock the puck wide.
Puck comes up ahead. Backlund sliding up there, back to Hamilton, works it across. Giordano, wrist shot, stop, rebound! Fired wide there by Backlund. Didn't get a great shot away.
Rolling puck as it looked like he had the empty net to dump it into.
15 seconds to go in the power play. Backlund rolls it ahead. Verlag. Slid it back. Kept in. Verlag along the boards. Puck knocked down, 9 seconds. Backlund working up. Poked off his stick. Nice play by Fane to stop that. Here's Jones. To Hamilton. Team's back at even strength. 2 shots on goal during the power play. Here's Pouliot. Schultz works it over. Here comes Schultz. Up for Hall. Tried a little move around Stajan that didn't quite work out. Frolik, Stajan coming in. Jones was with him, but he couldn't get him the puck. Hall stretched, couldn't get a stick on it. He'll give chase up into the corner. Finishes his check. Puck comes up. Frolik, right up the middle. Steps in. To his left was Jones. He tried to drop it back there for him, but broken up on the play. Hendricks coming back up. Drops it there for Hall. Looking top of the slot. Hall with it. Worked it over. Puck fired by Greider. Scores! Nugent-Hopkins. Tried to drop it back there for him, but broken up on the play. Hendricks coming back up. Drops it there for Hall. Looking top of the slot. Hall with it. Worked it over. Puck fired by Frolik, right up the middle. Steps in. To his left was Jones. He tried to drop it back there for him. Broke top.
Nice play by Hot. Period.
Back-to-back 56-point seasons. Pops one there.
29 minutes, 18 seconds at 1 hour, 54 minutes, 4 seconds.
Puck chipped in. Korpikoski up after it. Rubbed along the boards by Kulak. Purcell. Puts it back. Lander. Korpikoski buzzing around in the slot. Lander tried to slide it across. Broken up. Back the other way comes Granlund. And just got to center, tipped it in, and heads to the bench. Bob Hartley changing him up in the go. Edmonton reciprocating some of those changes. Long pass up ahead. Yakupov had to get away from him there at the line. And then the puck tapped over the boards into the Oilers bench, and we get a stoppage. 1 goal of the game. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with it. You're watching Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Connor McDavid told his parents, Brian Kelly, who are here tonight, when he was 6 years old, that he would go to Shattuck St. Mary's like Crosby did, that he would be granted exceptional OHL draft status, would win a World Junior Championship, would be drafted #1, and he was right on 3 or 4 of those things. And of course, the parents had doubts, suspicions, but they did everything possible to help him achieve his dreams. But pretty amazing, guys. As a 6-year-old, he knew exactly where he wanted to be. Paul?
That is steadfast determination.
6 years old? Are you supposed to be watching cartoons, not forecasting where you're going to go to high school?
Quite a story, and it's just started, really. Here's Gaudreau offside. I heard Nick Kiprios talking off the top of the show about seeing McDavid walking into the rink, and he had a smile on his face, and it brought to mind a quote that I heard from Michael Jordan. It's something he used to say to young players. He would tell them, just play, have fun, enjoy the game.
Exactly right. You're here for a reason, whatever that reason may be, and the weight of the world's on Connor McDavid's shoulders, and stress already that he's not performing, the team's not winning, he's not scoring. But if you have fun, if you play and don't think, your talent will shine, and he certainly has an abundance of that.
Here's Hall. And all the way in. Miller knocks it away. Reimer. Malik. Knocked down heavily. Nugent-Hopkins. Trying to win that puck back in his own zone. Puck comes up and around. England shoots. Tipped in front and smothered by Talbot.
It's a good save by Cam Talbot, who hasn't had too much to do in this period. Derek Engelland, and a nice look, finding Mason Raymond's blade. And if you're in front of the net with Mason Raymond, you can't get beat back to the front. That's Nugent-Hopkins. Sticks a little loose. Easy tip, and actually hits Raymond. Then Nugent-Hopkins, and into Cam Talbot. Smothers the rebound. Well, they've been looking for a goalie for the better part of 7 years here in Edmonton. And in the backup carousel that was going around this summer, Cam Talbot stopped in Edmonton. They're hoping that he can give them the stability at the most important position that they have lacked.
The two guys last year, Scrivens is playing in the minors, and Victor Foss is playing with Red Army in the KHL. Talbot donning the mantle this year of #1 goaltender in Edmonton.
Matt Hendricks, a top 6 winger for the Edmonton Oilers, sitting right beside me. And you're wondering, why would he fit with the skilled players? Mike Babcock does it with Justin Ablocator, because he knows where to go and how to play his own game. To the front of the net, be physical, great loose pucks and turnovers. He's done a really good job of that in this first period. Front of the net when Nugent-Hopkins hits the post, drops it off to Taylor Hall as he should, and then again gets to the front of the net. Occupy goalies, occupy defenders, and let your higher skilled wingers and line mates do the rest of the work. And something we've seen more of in the NHL, a bit of a grinder personality going along with a couple of highly skilled guys, and worked so far in the first period here for the Oilers.
He came over from Nashville in January of 2013 in the Devin Dubnyk deal.
The fact that he's wearing an A already and is already relied upon to be a leader in this team, we know he's going to block shots, he's going to be physical, he's going to be vocal, be a leader, all those different things. But to add a little bit of top 6 ice time, now that's something he probably wasn't expecting at the NHL level, but you relish that. Todd McClellan mixing and matching, trying to find what works. And right now, looking for their first win for their new GM, Peter Chiarelli in the middle there, new coach, Todd McClellan, and all their new players trying to get on the board this year.
Well, you wonder, has the rebuild even started? And I don't think the teardown has started yet.
I think, didn't the rebuild start 5 years ago? I mean, really, when you think of all the high draft picks and the poor finishes, that is a bit of a rebuild, but it's not done. And I think that's the reality, is that they're not just growing their mace up. There'll still be a bit of a deconstruction prior to the growth they're looking for.
And just reference a few moments ago, you can see the poor starts they've gotten off to in the last few years. Something that has to be addressed, and not being addressed yet this year. Still looking for their first win.
They've had a nightmare schedule. I mean, one of the bottom teams, there are no easy matchups, but St. Louis twice and in Nashville.
Those are tough games for any team, regardless of your goalie, let alone a young one with a lot of new parts. Here comes Schultz up the middle. Long shot. Fires it in. McDavid cruising up there on the right side, number 97. On Tuesday, Rick takes a grueling obstacle course in the Royal Military College. An all-new Rick Mercer report that's coming up Tuesday at 8 here on CBC. Russell tiptoeing up on the left side. Russell, sharp angle, grabbed and held. Connor McDavid wearing number 97, and apropos of nothing in particular, let's have some fun with numbers. First season, 66 points. Mario, second. Gretzky. Don't you love that?
I like where this is headed.
97 goals, career in Erie, and that's the number he wears.
I knew I should never have picked number 20.
Letestu.
They get anywhere near number 97 points as a team, points for him. They'll be very happy.
Now, David Moyer, who's our veteran stats guy, is the one who dug that out, and he showed it to me, and my initial reaction was, well, so what? It doesn't mean anything. But then you take a closer look at it, and it's just one of those fun numerical puzzles. Coincidence? I'm not sure.
I think so.
Giordano trying to fire the wrist shot in. Raymond up after it. This is Frolik. Just hopped over the stick of Backlund. Sharp angle puck fired in front, and grabbing it and hanging on was Talbot, and a little extra tickle from Frolik, who was just off the edge of the crease.
Well, if you're going to drop the puck out of your glove, someone's got to take a swing at it. Pretty good coverage in the defensive zone for the Oilers here. If you give up a shot from the angle with you with inside position, you'll take that. And Frolik takes a little swipe at that bouncing puck. Not a dirty player, nothing much comes of it, but that has been an area of emphasis for the Oilers this whole year. Training camp, play in their own end. They just haven't been very good at it for a while.
Puck comes back. Frolik stepped into the circle and zipped a quick wrist shot on goal, and Talbot hangs on to it. How do you like what Frolik has brought to the team?
He's been terrific, as advertised. Picks up points here and there, but very smart player around the puck, can play any position and any role, and almost squeezes a deflected puck past Cam Talbot as he eventually finds him between his legs.
Part of a cup with Chicago in 2013, then ended up in Winnipeg, and then here by free agency.
Learned how to become a defensive player when he realized he wouldn't be able to score like he did at the junior level in the NHL.
Puck jabbed up, down into the corner. Raymond was looking for it. Now Backlund in there, trying to coax that puck loose. Nugent Hopkins getting in the way. And it gets by Giordano. Tilly lays it up, back on the wing for a leak with him. Nugent Hopkins. Klefbom throws it up, nice read, and it's picked up by Bollig, who steps in. Long wrist shot. Talbot will stop those all night, and he hangs on.
And it was a good read for Bollig to step in front of it, but Klefbom has got to realize that that's not where he wants to go with the puck. He steps inside here now. He doesn't have a lot of options, but that 50-foot seam pass, giving guys time to step in front, is just not a good decision. And because of it, puck back in their own end. Mark Letestu, their sole veteran right-handed centerman, has to come out again to take another defensive zone faceoff.
And taking the face-off against Monahan, who wins it. Back to Russell, fired a wrist shot through. Getting in front of it was Klefbom. Up back in the net. This is Wideman. Glanced over to Russell, and he gives him the puck. Russell trying to bounce it off the boards. Kudler looking for it, pokes it along. Goudreau is dangling in the high slot. Puck comes to Russell and couldn't quite keep it in. Was rolling as it came to him. The hot pass off the stick of Wideman. Klefbom looking for a way up and finds it. Puck tipped down deep into the flame zone. Purcell up there, trying to forecheck, couldn't get there nearly in time. It's all the way back down. This is Mark Fane. Ricochets it up off the boards, past Purcell, and that's icing.
You gotta manage the puck there. The 80-foot stretch passes to the knees of the guys.
So that does it for one. It is 1-0. The Oilers leading the Flames shots on goal, 8-5 for Calgary. Coming up in the first intermission, he was a highlight off-season signing for the Flames. Be sure to stay tuned for a special feature on Dougie Hamilton. You are watching a Hockey Night in Canada. And welcome back. Calgary on the power play to start things off in the second period. Mike, go back to your time in the NHL and Obi and Crosby coming in as the next big noise. You were a player then. How did the other guys, not their teammates, other guys around the league react when the next one comes into town?
Well, there's always curiosity. How good can they really be? And with Sid and Obi, they showed that they could absolutely be, as 18 and 19-year-olds, some of the best in the world. And that's where the talk with McDavid. But there's the other part of it where your ego doesn't want to let these young guys be that good at the NHL level. You do everything in your power to make life difficult when you play against them. And McDavid's seeing that already in his young career.
Goodrow taps it back. Here's Weidman. Pulled it to the wrist shot, let it go, tries to follow it up there at the slot. Things get a little murky, and the puck played back towards the line. This is Russell. Flames on the power play. Weidman sneaking into the top of the slot, but they go back to Russell there at the left point. Weidman drops back to cover for him. Puck tucked up ahead, comes to Weidman. Over to Russell, looking down towards the front of the net. Puck comes to Goodrow, rifles a shot, and missed the mark. Weidman trying to move it up, picked up by Letestu, and he clears it in.
That was a very rare slap shot attempt for Johnny Goodrow. Hardly ever takes them, always works his way in a little closer for wrist shots.
Puck moved up. Verlander trying to sneak through, knocked down. 29 seconds to go in the Flames' man advantage. Puck pushed up into the corner by Backlund. Tries to follow it up. Weidman hanging back at the right point. The puck comes to him. It was rolling a little bit. He rolls it up towards the corner. Giordano. Around back of the goal. Verlander couldn't get to it.
Sekera got a high stick there. Picked by Michael Backlund, and he's still wincing while staying on the ice.
Here's Backlund, fires one wide. Penalized player back on. One shot on goal during that power play for the Flames. Here comes Hendrick. He's got some room, and he gets a good shot. And Hiller stopped that.
Got to move that puck quicker. All the way across the ice, but David almost have a breakaway. There's Sekera off right beside me. Looks like he got a stick up near his jaw from Michael Backlund. They battle for this loose puck along the wall, and oh yeah, absolutely. And here's the last chance. Hendrick's out of the box, and Giordano does a nice job stepping to his left briefly, forcing McDavid to slow down, make that pass a little tougher. And McDavid to acknowledge, hey, I didn't see that one, and one that he just missed.
McDavid looking for it along the boards. Yakupov couldn't get it to him. Puck comes out. Puck cleared in. Staging. Not able to win it. McDavid taken out there along the boards. And he's just hanging back, seeing if that puck will pop loose to him. Comes to the line. Engelland able to keep it in. Staging. For a leak, will go after it to the corner. Reinhardt gets there. Taps it up along the boards. McDavid touched it and then was bumped out of the play by Juris. Now Juris sweeping up there in the wing. Reinhardt turns and plays it out. Engelland with it for Calgary. A little bit of room for Jones. Fired that one wide. Russell up after it. And will bring up around the boards, back down into Calgary territory. Letestu watching him. Schultz shoots. Stopped and held by Hiller.
Teams going back and forth, and Calgary generating some chances. Michael Granlund gets a look here. Eric Greiber steps up on him. We got to recognize when there is support and when there isn't line change or not. Eventually that puck works its way wide, but if there's force not there and you're Eric Greiber, you can't step up and give a quick 2-on-1 to Juris and Granlund. As Calgary looking to build off the last 10 minutes of that first period where they were the better team playing the offensive end.
Granlund playing his first game of the season tonight. He was up and down last year, played 21 games in the Flames, 48 games in the minors. Pardon me, flip that around. 48 with the Flames, 21 in the minors. Puck drops down against the glass. Monahan works it across. Giordano rushes that puck and fires it in deep. Here comes Hudler after. He's given a bump. Schultz. Paul. Back for Schultz. Cleft bomb over to his left, his defensive partner. And he gets it over to him. Almost. Now cleft bomb picks up.
48 minutes, 1 second. 40.
Step there in your aircraft.
Stockton held. Letestu watching him. Schultz shoots. Stockton held by Hiller.
0% for puck. Going back.
Team's going back and Calgary looking to build off the last 10 minutes of that first period where they were the better team playing the offense.
Granlund playing his first game of the season. He's up and down last year. Played 21 games with the Flames, 48 games with the minors. Pardon me, flip that around. 48 with the Flames, 21 with the minors. Puck drops down against the glass. Monahan works it across. Giordano rushes that puck and fires it in deep. Here comes Hudler after. He's given a bump. Schultz hit.
Pause keyboard.
Oilers on the ball. Front. Schultz touches for Nugent.
48 minutes, 20.
This is Kulak off the boards. Kulak back after.
Quick puck moved by Kulak a couple times there. Quick transitions.
Here comes Backlund, wheeling and dealing down that right side and couldn't get around Clefbaum. Purcell. And here's Englund. Englund, bit of room there on the right, able to step in, fire that puck in deep. Station trying to get to it. And this will be an icing call on the Oilers. 50. This will be an icing call on the Oilers. 16 to go in the second period.
Well, the guys, the intermission talked about
2 goals in the game.
I didn't
get it to him. Puck comes out.
This is the walk. David always have a break.
Play.
And here's the last chance. Henrik's out of the box. And Giordano does a nice job stepping to his left briefly, forcing McDavid to slow down, make that pass a little tougher. And here's the last chance. Henrik's out of the box. And Giordano does a nice job stepping to his left briefly, forcing McDavid to slow down, make that pass a little tougher. And forcing McDavid to slow down, make that pass a little tougher. And McKinnon acknowledge, hey, I didn't see that one, and one that he just missed.
McDavid looking for along the boards. Yakupov couldn't get it to him. Puck comes out. Puck cleared in. Station. Not able to win it. McDavid taken up there along the boards. He's just coming back, seeing if that puck will pop loose to him. Comes to the line. Englund able to keep it in. Station. For a leak will go after into the corner. Reinhardt gets it. Taps it up along the boards. McDavid touched it and then was bumped out of the play by Juris. Now Juris sweeping up there in the wing. Reinhardt turns and plays it out. Englund within 4 count. A little bit of room for Jones. Fire that one wide. Russell up after it. And will bring up around the boards back down into Calgary territory. Granlund playing his first game of
this first Juris and Granlund as Calgary
gets it over to him.
The ice drop off where he popped his starting 1 for 10.
Weidman shoots.
So he popped starting 1 for 10.
Weidman shoots. Weidman fired it in. There was lots of traffic in front, and the Flames attacked.
McDavid goal.
Weidman's so good at getting pucks down to the front of the net. Very tired defenders out there. Clefbaum and Schultz. You're just working along the wall. You stay patient with it and force them to continue defending. And that one obviously comes out and catches a piece of something on the way in. Drops down and dribbles through before Talbot actually knocks it in with his own foot. But it's all goes back to this icing here. Justin Schultz just shoots it away because he's tired. And those are the turnovers that end up resulting in defensive zone time.
Oilers on the play.
NHL October 17.
Jones's stick.
Play keyboard. Seek sliders. 50 minutes for
Own foot.
And now they give the goal to
That pass puck
call here on the Flame.
of game action. 15 minutes now of game action.
Shoots and scores.
Nice call here on the Flames.
One is set up by Drake Tadula.
Take one more look at it.
After two
Jones right now
goals.
is being given credit for it.
Weidman
Weidman gets that pass, puck past Korpikoski, and I think that does hit Jones's stick, as both Jones and Schultz were kind of wheeling out of the way of the high riser. And no chance for Cam Talbot. Puck past Korpikoski,
NHL October
and I think that does hit
Edmonton Oilers, Calgary Flames,
Jones's stick, as both Jones and Schultz were kind of wheeling out of the way of the high riser. And no chance for Cam Talbot. And one more look at it, as we'll determine the finality is see Talbot just dribbles through, and then he feels it going through his legs, tries to squeeze his feet, ends up knocking it through. And yeah, absolutely, I think it hits Jones before it gets down to Schultz. But tired defenders make for easy offensive zone time, and Calgary got just that.
Well, fair to say that that's one of those plays that just will put a few more gray hairs on the head of a coach. It puts the Flames on the board. We're tied at 1. Hockey Night in Canada.
Welcome back to Calgary. It's 1-1, the Flames and the Oilers, and it's time now for a Budweiser Red Light scoreboard. Ole Mata, the winner in Pittsburgh against the Leafs. Montreal, 3 third-period goals, and they beat Detroit 4-1. Ottawa loses to Nashville in a shootout. What is happening in Columbus? A 4-1 loss to Chicago. Paul?
They may rehire Doug McLean.
Something's got something's got to happen in Columbus pretty soon if they don't get to turn this around.
Reinhart fires it up. McDavid winning that face-off, but he's second face. Julio.
Some good too.
Here's Cook.
Loss.
Puck comes down to Weidman. Gets it up. Kugler banks it out. Gaudreau picks it up. He'll step in. Gaudreau. Trailer Russell. And you tell the David Nichols out there with him.
53 minutes. 53 minutes.
He's spun up the head. Comes in with the puck.
55 seconds of one place. 54 minutes, 4 seconds.
Schultz jumping up into the play. Had the chance. Here's Hall after it. And the puck's on the way. Wow.
Save by Hiller. Edmonton put some good chances in on Jonas Hiller. Turn to Connor McDavid. Look at the wheels here. Blows by Weidman. Gets it back. Drives the seam. Finds Greiba, who has a very good look back to Pouliot through. And it's Dennis Weidman who blocks it. And Taylor Hall, good strong skate through Weidman again. Floats a saucer pass too high. Schultz picks out of the air. Drops it right there. And then maybe the best of the bunch was the tip that came right after that. Jonas Hiller glove down.
Pass knocked down just outside the line by Lander, and it's offside. Almost.
Maybe Jonas Hiller's best save of the night. Comes on this one. Not on the saucer pass here, as Hall just gets a little bit too much underneath it to get over top of Russell. Good hands by Schultz. Get a stick and shin on it right after that. Jonas Hiller gloves it down, and you look what his numbers were against the Oilers last year and for his career. They are absolutely tremendous. 17-4-1, including 4-0 last year. Definitely going to get the start tonight, as Bob Hartley's still looking for a number one to assert themselves between Hiller and Ramo.
And a holding penalty coming up, and it's going to go against the Flames. Wednesday night, the Dragons dive into a bidding war in an all-new Dragons Den. That's Wednesday at 8 right here on CBC.
It's been a good night for the fourth line, but Michael Ferland here just loses body position. And Anton Lander is entitled to the ice that he is standing in, and Ferland just reaches out, jumps around that loose hand right there on the shoulder. Easy to see. The Oilers will go to the power play, which has not been nearly as effective as you think it should be for all the talent they can throw out there. Just one goal in the year so far.
Lander, Purcell, Nugent Hopkins, Hall, and Schultz out there. They go to the 4-forward configuration. Hall shoots, rebound in front. Lander was right there, and Hiller steadfast in his denial.
Puck was still loose, but the referees lost sight of it. But talk about selling on the faceoff. Watch Lander here. Down to one knee, bailing out as Juris trying to go forward to the open side. And that allows for the wrister in and rebound activity in front of Hiller. It's a battle in that faceoff circle.
Lander against Juris on the draw. Lander wins it. Back to Schultz. He'll walk it across the line to Hall. And tried to move it over to the weak side. It'll bounce in front. Purcell will swing at it. Lander was there too. And then it's cleared.
That was a good job by Dougie Hamilton, not over chasing that loose puck, standing in front of the net. A little patience with his reach to break it up.
Here comes Schultz. Lots of room up the middle. Oilers on the power play. Back for Nugent Hopkins. Tucked it up ahead. Purcell dropped it on Hall. Back for Nugent Hopkins. Schultz to Hall. Traffic down in front. Schultz top of the point over to Purcell. Shooting! And that was deflected wide. I think Lander may have gotten his skate on it. Nugent Hopkins wheels in. Lander slides up towards the corner. Nugent Hopkins squeezed out of the play. Hall there to cover. Back to Purcell. Waiting. Tips it back. Schultz fires one off a leg. Nugent Hopkins drops it down. Hall is in the slot. Stick on the ice. They couldn't get it to him. Nugent Hopkins wheeling, dealing, gets it to Hall. Spinning and trying to center it. And it was broken up. Nugent Hopkins out for Hall. Group has been out the entire power play so far. 35 seconds to go in the advantage. Nugent Hopkins tried to pull it to the backhand. It was broken up and cleared.
Nugent Hopkins had numbers there. Both Sekera and Letestu coming down the slot if you would have just taken a look.
Here comes Sekera on the move. McDavid is out there now on the power play. Pouliot also out there. Letestu, so they get that right-handed shot in the power play. Heard Mike talking about that earlier.
And Yakupov's getting in right into trouble with no support there. Turn it over.
Backlund picks it up. Ferland all set to step on. He does. 2 shots on goal during that power play for Edmonton. Sekera back to pick it up. Ferland up there to pressure him. Finishes the check. Literally finishes the check. Here's Rusty. Juris steps in. Works it across. Ferland just behind it. Here's Ferland. Works it up. Puck bobbles and wobbles to Monahan. Looking, trying to get it out in front. Gulak fired it. And starting back is McDavid. Shovels it up along the wing. Puck rolls around. Klinkhammer after it. Knocked away from him. Comes up to Gaudreau, stepping in. Lots of traffic, but he finds an opening and gets it up to Kulak, who moves it in. Puck in on goal, and it's smothered by Talbot. 9:04 to go, second period. We are tied at 1 in the Battle of Alberta. You're watching a Hockey Night in Canada.
Connor McDavid, 2 for 8 in face-off so far, and he's been taking a bit of a heat for maybe it not being a strength. And here is what Sidney Crosby and, of course, his teammate Ryan Nugent-Hopkins did through their first 4 games in the NHL, and he's not really far off what they did. Also, first overall picks. Paul, Mike.
Well, there is no way, I don't care who it is, that a rookie is going to be good in the face-off circle in the NHL.
Paul, I was asked to play center for the first time as a 29-year-old, 8 years in. I was 0 for 11. So, it's not an easy thing to do regardless of your age if you don't have the experience.
And it is especially tough for rookies because part of that experience is knowing the other guys in the league and knowing the tendencies of the linesmen as well. A lot of little subtleties.
High stick coming out to Dougie Hamilton as he is heading straight to the box. As Taylor Hall, another good rush wide. Strong skater as he is, he puts a lot of pressure on defenders. Nice job sliding the puck underneath, and right there, just kind of, right in the back of the ear is Dougie Hamilton. Wisely, no complaints. Trying to bring it over top of Hall's shoulders. Caught him in the head.
So Edmonton, with a little bit of spark on their last power play, they had a couple of shots on goal. Let's see what they do here. Schultz over to Purcell. Fires a shot and grazed by Weidman's noggin as he was falling to the ice. Weidman sends it up around the boards and down the ice. Schultz. Way up, Schultz dishes off to Taylor Hall coming in. Lander and Nugent Hopkins move into the mix. Puck comes over to Lander. And Miss Purcell with that pass. And I look down, you can see the frustration on Lander's face. Hall comes in to Lander. Walks in. Hall. Lander shoots. Knocked away. McDavid's out there now in the power play. Hall looking for it. McDavid comes up, trying to hold that puck loose. He's got it. Throws it back to the blue line. Sekera walks it across to Purcell. Sekera fires one wide. McDavid will claim it here. Works it back. Sekera. Purcell tried to go across for McDavid. He'll catch up with it here along the boards. And then had his pocket picked, but tapped back in by Sekera. Puck knocked down. Hall had it roll away. Sekera looks to his right, to his left, and the linesman says he came outside the line.
Well, it's a dangerous place to be in front of the net. Watch Dennis Weidman almost get clipped on this tip right by his chin. And he should know all too well because just last night, it was his partner, Chris Russell, who laid down in front of one from Brian Little and got it right off the back of the head. And the courage it takes and the dangerous spots these guys find themselves in is amazing, and yet they continue to do it night after night. And no visor for Weidman either. Makes me shake my head.
34 seconds to go in the power play. And up quickly, Yakupov. Trying to get it across. McDavid lurking there on the right side. Schultz over to Connor McDavid. McDavid sauced that one across. Pouliot couldn't get a stick on it. Here's Schultz. Gets it over. McDavid slides it down low. Puck comes out. Letestu in front. Chucked towards the goal by Yakupov. Here's McDavid looking. Trying to slide it down. Schultz fakes a shot. Steps around his man. Fires it up. McDavid trying to knock it down. Penalized player back on. One shot on goal for the Oilers on that power play. And back quickly. Comes back one. Ball off the boards. Knocked away though. Klefbom. Burakovsky got it in. Fired right back out. Klefbom looking for it. And pounds it back down into Calgary territory. And the puck pops out of play.
Connor McDavid showing a little something off the power play. He's playing the point here, so a bit of a set play. He's going to jump every time he can. This is a good play by Yakupov, and Michael Backlund gets beat to the net. And he is thinking one thing, I'm going forward, and you see this spacey game, just fires it wide, back through against the grain, and missed by a little bit, but a little more assertive. What Tom McClellan talked about this morning is that, like a lot of young guys, they want to be polite, they want to be deferential on the ice, look to pass, and maybe they should shoot. Haven't seen as much of that hesitation out of McDavid tonight.
10 minutes and 52 seconds worth of ice time for McDavid tonight. He has one shot on goal.
He's got a few shot attempts, though, and just making decisions definitively.
territory. Out of play.
Connor McDavid showing a little something off the power play. He's playing the point here. Connor McDavid showing a little something off the power play. He's playing the point here, so a bit of a set play. He's going to jump every time he can. It's a good play. A little something off the power play. He's playing the point here, so a bit of a set play. He's going to jump every time he can. It's a good play by Yakupov, and Michael Backlund gets beat to the net. And he is thinking one thing, I'm going forward, and you see this spacey game just fires it wide back through against the grain and missed by a little more sort of. What Tom McCall talked about this morning is that a lot of young guys, they want to
Set it up here. Closing his glove on it.
1 hour 5 minutes 40. 1 hour 5 minutes 40. 1 hour 5 minutes 45 seconds. 1 hour 54 minutes 4 seconds.
Greiba being badgered there by Gaudreau. Hendricks steps in over the line, works it across. Koprikoski fires one. Kudler swings up looking for the pass. Tipped up to Gaudreau. Try to get it back toward the slot, but broken up. Hendricks back for Edmonton. Batted away there with the blocker. Pouliot sends it across. Yakupov trying to get it on goal. Here's Hamilton. Raymond lays it back. Russell over for Hamilton. Working it in. Raymond tucked it up ahead. Backlund coming into that left side. And the puck deflected up over the glass and out of play. From Calgary, this is Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. From Calgary, this is Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Calgary.
Hey, we get to go through all of this together because all these faces and guys you're meeting, you don't remember any of their names, either do I, so you don't have to worry about it. We'll get through it together.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, here's Connor. We'll turn around here real quick.
And that's just it. They are in it together. They are going to be attached to the hip, and their success or lack thereof will be intertwined for the next half decade. And I think Tom McClellan's a great fit communicator to help Connor McDavid as he gets going in his NHL career. He's already spent lots of time with them, talking, video, and it's not a full-time job because there's 22 other members of his team he's got to worry about, but Connor McDavid is demanding lots of attention for Todd McClellan, both with the media and with just making sure that he's comfortable. He's such an important player for his team.
Well, and we chatted with Todd this morning after the team's morning skate, and he acknowledged as such that a big part of the whole interview process when he was talking to Peter Chiarelli was, you know, you're going to have to handle this guy. That's right, but just a perfect guy for that role. Very good reputation for how well he's handled players at various levels. Here's Hall. Works it out. Nugent Hopkins stretching. Stick on that. But Connor McDavid aside, Brian Nugent Hopkins, who's up there now, he's been the best player for the Edmonton Oilers tonight.
Certainly the first period he was. Taylor Hall's been pretty good in the second here, but Calgary's had their fair share of this second period.
Here comes Nugent Hopkins now. In over the line, gets it up to Taylor Hall. Tried to fire it through. Puck skittered through. Not much on it in the end. And it was smothered in hell by Hiller. Lies, fear, corruption, the new spy thriller. It's the Romeo section. Wednesday at 9 on CBC.
Well, the two guys we just talked about, Nugent Hopkins buying time and Taylor Hall filling the lane with some speed. Hendricks right back to the front of the net, worked a couple times in the first period for a goal on a near one, almost works again. And Taylor Hall was frustrated he was not able to get that one through the traffic to the net.
Taylor Hall coming off a frustrating season last year, lowest point total of his young career. He only had 38 points. Sekera. Back to Fane. Yakupov steps in, fires a wrist shot. Knocked away by Hiller. Pouliot. McDavid plays it back. Fane fires one in, that fluttered in on goal. Hiller stopped that. Stays cruising up towards the corner after. Supporting Jones. Comes back to Wideman. He's fired it to the opposite corner. Yakupov up ahead to McDavid. He'll come in. McDavid drives up. Shoots. Scores! Fired it towards the corner
1
after.
hour 10 minutes 5. 1 hour 10 minutes 6. 1 hour 10 minutes 7 seconds. 1 hour 54
Fired
minutes
it
4
to the
seconds.
opposite corner. Yakupov up ahead to McDavid.
1 hour 10 minutes 1 hour 10 minutes 5 seconds.
Supporting
1 hour
Jones.
54
Comes
minutes
back
4
to
seconds.
Wideman. He's fired it to the opposite corner. Yakupov up ahead to McDavid. He'll come in. McDavid drives up. Shoots. Scores!
Kevin.
They wanted a goal to talk about, and they get one from Connor McDavid.
5-1 Oilers.
You cannot play him without a gap, and Chris Russell finds himself sitting back. You have to back up, and Connor McDavid takes what is given, trusts in his wrist shot, and gets it through the shot blocking Chris Russell. Nice little play from Yakupov. Good timing once again from McDavid not to get too far in front, and then just underneath the arm of Jonas Hiller. And the Oilers are back in front 2-1. And Mom and Dad, not too bad.
Much prettier, I must say, than his first NHL goal, which was a soft tip in the game against St. Louis.
Gorgeous to Connor McDavid. And of Jonas Hiller. And just underneath the arm of Jonas Hiller. And the Oilers are back in front 2-1. And Mom and Dad. And the Oilers are back in front 2-1. And Mom and Dad, not too bad.
Much prettier, I must say, than his first NHL goal, which was a soft tip in the game against St. Louis.
Gorgeous to Connor McDavid, though.
Oh, yeah. So the Oilers jump into a 2-1 lead. Connor McDavid gets the goal. Yakupov with the assist at 16:31.
Good play from Yakupov. Recognize, got to get it out to space quickly. And McDavid giving him a target that he can hit.
Bullock comes around. Puck tapped up. Bradley up there to claim it. The test crew trying to watch him. Gaudreau buzzing in there. Couldn't pick it up. Klinkhammer. Now Reinhardt with it. Here's Gaudreau. Monahan. The third defensive pair for Edmonton out there on the ice against this top Calgary line. Puck comes across. Hudler backhand shot. Knocked down. Hamilton tips it up towards the corner. Hudler. Gaudreau. Lander trying to smother it. Couldn't. Gaudreau, great job to keep it in. Fired it up there. Hudler tried to redirect it. Here's Monahan. Tips it up. Gaudreau from the half board. Couldn't get it on goal. Lander blocking it, and a penalty coming up. And it will go against Gaudreau. He'll be called for the high stick.
I think there may be two penalties on this play, though, because Gaudreau got the high stick in the corner, but Greiva got Giordano in the high slot with a pretty good cross check up top as well. And there it is. Trying to lift the stick, gets underneath his chin, but in the high slot. And that's what Mark Giordano's talking about right now. As Eric Greiva got him with a pretty good cross check. I was thinking it might be evened up 4-on-4, but the initial penalty was called in the corner. Johnny Gaudreau to the box, a place he does not get to very often. And the Oilers back to the power play. It's a tough break for Calgary, though, because Giordano was hit hard enough to warrant a penalty from Eric Greiva.
Shots in the second period, 12-4 for the Oilers. And they get set to go to work at the power play. Lander, Purcell, Nugent Hopkins, and Hall, 4 forwards. Schultz, the lone defenseman. And here comes Schultz. Looks over to his left and finds Nugent Hopkins. Sneaking up, he drops it back. Schultz, will he get a shot? Nope, passes over. One-timer off the stick of Hall. And it's cleared down the ice. Lots of time to go in the power play. A minute and a half for the Oilers with the man advantage. And nursing a 2-1 lead. Connor McDavid with the go-ahead goal for the Oilers. There's the puck in deep. Personal up after. Claimed by Station. Frolik pokes at it. Oh, he's off to the races. Short-handed chance now. Moving up. Puck brought back. Fired on goal by Giordano. Nice stop by Talbot. Back the other way. Comes Hall. Down that right side. Trying to cut across to the middle. And he was back down by Hamilton. Here's McDavid. Tips it up. Hall's down low. He takes it. Sneaks along. Works it back out. Sekera. Back for Hall. Over for Sekera. Winds up. Big shot. Big save. Rebound fired just wide by McDavid. Here's Hall. Works it up ahead. Pouliot is parked in front. Sekera trying to get loose over on the weak side. Puck tipped just wide. Sekera will pick it up here. Shovels it back to the blue line. 25 seconds to go in the Oilers power play. Pouliot couldn't handle the pass. Purcell over to Pouliot. Leads the charge in. This is Yakupov. McDavid there to clean. Works it back. Sekera. Klefbom. First shot. And time runs out in the second period. 8 seconds to go on the power play, which will carry over to the third period. Shots on goal through 2 periods. 19-13 for the Oilers. 14-5 shots on goal in the second for Edmonton. Coming up at the intermission inside the game with George, Nick, Kelly, and Elliott on Hockey Night in Canada. Nick,
1 hour,
Kelly,
15 minutes.
and
1
Elliott.
hour, 15 minutes.
Hockey
1 hour,
fan
16
anyway.
minutes. 1
Look
hour,
at
16
this.
minutes. 1
Look
hour,
at
16
that
minutes. 7
wealth
seconds of 1 hour, 54 minutes, 4
of
seconds.
first picks overall. The wealth of draft picks this franchise has accumulated. They're all contributing tonight, which is great. But you look at that and you go, look at all that talent. As that one clanks off the post from one of those first-round picks, first overall picks, Taylor Hall. And yet they've been so poor for so long. One of the great mysteries. And I don't have an answer. I assume the Oilers management
the answer,
doesn't either. Do you have an answer, Mike?
Well, the answer is none of those guys are defensemen. And none of them are goalies, which they haven't had enough of. But they have forwards, and here's Taylor Hall. Right off the opening faceoff. That is a quick release. Maybe ramps up Dougie Hamilton's stick, but beats Hiller cleanly off the crossbar and out. That would have been quite a start for Edmonton.
You just look at the, and that's a great point by you, but you look at the offensive talent, and there's Hall again, and he scores!
1 hour, 17. 1 hour, 17 minutes. 1 hour, 17.
And
1 hour,
that's a great
17
point by
minutes.
you,
3
but
seconds
you
of 1 hour,
look at the
54 minutes, 4
offensive
seconds.
talent, and there's Hall again, and he scores! Taylor Hall!
Connor McDavid. 30 goals in the season.
And it is 3-1 for
And
the
it
Oilers.
is 6-1 Oilers.
Winning face-off and getting to the front of the net. Taylor Hall, good job against Hendricks, digging into the draw. Nice step up to get it down to the front of the net. And Taylor Hall just working his stick loose. And watch him jump inside Dougie Hamilton, a little stronger on his stick, and just dribbles through Jonas Hiller, who gets a piece of it, falls through and over the line. Taylor Hall not to be denied in that shift. Off the crossbar, and then in the back of the net. Taylor Hall not to be denied in that shift. Off the crossbar, and then in the back of the net.
All of Nugent Hopkins, particularly tonight, looked very good. Both on the scoreboard as well as Connor McDavid, and the Oilers inching ever closer to their first victory of the season. And Calgary, meanwhile, really on the back foot here on home ice. They could possibly lose their first 3 home games. That hasn't happened since 2000-2001 season.
They're looking to change things up as Siri Hoodler now playing with Backlund and Ferland as Bob Harvey trying to find something to kickstart the offense. This
one. Comes off the boards dangerously right out in front of the goal, but it's cleared. And an icing call on the Flames.
The hard half and the rings and not live.
Kulak. Up ahead, Bowling tips it up.
It is wholesale line juggling in the blender for the Flames in second intermission as Bob Hartley's picking everything around.
Well, not helping at all with Sam Bennett down with an upper body injury. Not answering the bell tonight.
Yeah, this is the Edmonton Oilers team that has not won this year. You're at home, you made the playoffs. You're struggling, you're in Calgary, you're thinking, we got to have this game. And they've had their moments, especially late in the first period or the second, but not enough of them. Now, the one thing they did all year last year, well documented, is come from behind in the third period. And there is no quit, no lack of belief on the Calgary Flames bench, even when they're trailing into the third.
Oh, not a bit, and it was that aspect alone made them so much fun to watch, particularly in the stretch run of last season. You could just never count them out.
And you know, it's the Edmonton Oilers. You're going to get chances. They have not won. They're going to be a little tight here down the stretch.
Russell flashing it across. Knocked down there by Schultz, trying to get it out. Hall. Weidman fires a wrist shot through, knocked down. And back the other way. Nugent Hopkins wheels up to the line. Long wrist shot, knocked away by Hiller. Hall lurking up there back to the net. Puck didn't come to him. Monahan starts back. Moves it up to Jones. Monahan, Jones, and Gaudreau up there. As Mike mentioned, Bob Hartley really juggling the line. Hall with a steal. And that was stopped by Hiller.
Broken stick at the worst time for Chris Russell. They caught Taylor Hall off guard as well.
Puck rolls back to Hiller. Pitches it up behind the goal. McDavid gets it in quick. Scores! Yakupov! Stopped by Hiller.
Broken stick at the worst time for Chris Russell. They caught Taylor Hall off guard as well.
Puck rolls back to Hiller. Pitches it up behind the goal. McDavid gets it in quick.
1 hour, 21. 1 hour, 21 minutes, 44 seconds.
Back to Hiller.
1 hour,
Oilers
57
on the
minutes,
power
57
play.
54 minutes, 53 minutes, 53 minutes.
Something's got to happen in Columbus.
51 minutes.
Perry to tip it away.
Pouliot through and it's dead tilt. Saved by Hiller. Puck pass. In. So he starting 1 for 10.
Weidman shoots. Weidman fired it in. There was lots of traffic in front, and the Flames attacked.
4-0 lead.
Weidman so good at getting pucks down to the front of the net. Very tired defenders out there. Clefbaum and Schultz. He is working along the wall. You stay patient with it and force them to continue defending. And that one obviously comes out and catches a piece of something on the way in. Drops down and dribbles through before Talbot actually knocks it in with his own foot. But it's all goes back to this icing here. Justin Schultz just shoots it away because he's tired. And those are the turnovers that end up resulting in defensive zone fire, penalties, chances against, and in this case, a goal against the Oilers. You have to value your puck so much more than just shooting it away.
And now they give the goal to Jones.
It hit either Jones or Ferland in front of the net, I think.
So they're giving it to Jones. Weidman and Ferland pick up the 6.
Play keyboard. 0%. Play keyboard. 1 hour, 19 minutes, 51. Current value for
where he needs it, he actually fans up.
1 hour, 20.
What the brings offense with these great players? That's the question mark. And even the Oilers are not sure what the answer.
Bain gets it up. Purcell just tips it down. Hiller. Out to Parkett. Oilers wholesale change. Hoodler tips it in. Kulak, undressed by McDavid, in there! Oh, and he almost finished it off! A luminous beauty there from McDavid, and just failed to finish with the goal.
My word! You're everything but.
Pouliot gets it up ahead. Yakupov, long shot. Incredible. Feast your eyes on this.
Well, they've been waiting for one of these nights and look at the speed. Pokes it off Kulak. I love the patience. That's Engelland slide right by. Outweights Hiller. Oh, what a save by Hiller, though. Desperation with the paddle against the post. McDavid thinks he's got the empty net to tuck it into. And Hasek-like back to take away the second one of the night for Connor McDavid.
On the way back out. Gaudreau. Testu fires it back in. Yeah, oohing it on over McDavid as well we should have, but what a great stop that was by Hiller. Nice pull by you. Dominic Hasek-like, it sure was. And that's an icing call. Perez Hilton guest starring on an all-new Canada's Smartest Person with host Jesse Cruikshank. That's coming up. You can catch all the fun tomorrow at 8 on CBC. .15:08 to go here. Third period. Shots on goal 25-15 for the Oilers. They lead it 4-1. Poised to pick up their first victory of the season since the first period. So second and up to now, shots on goal 20-7 in favor of the Oilers. Here's Hendricks. Trying to fire a wrist shot through. Randall moving it in. Sekera back to pick it up. Hendricks. Pinion there against the boards. Backlund up after it. Save. And Hall not able to control it. Giordano works it across. Hamilton back to Giordano. Hamilton, bit of room on that wing. Reads the play, fires it across in front, hoping for a rebound. He got one, but Granlund wasn't able to get his stick on it. Giordano up for Hamilton. Fires the wrist shot in deep for a leak off the bench and into the mix. Reinforcements come in now, staging up there. Hamilton moves up, trying to force things, not able to keep it in. This is Mark Giordano. Played a great game last night in Winnipeg. Best of the season according to his coach. He's been not quite as noticeable tonight. And play is called. 13:58 to go in the third period. We've got a penalty coming up. It's going to go against the Oilers, but watch that save one more time.
Time now for Budweiser Red Light Scoreboard. 3-1 now. Boston up on Arizona. That game's in the third. Phil Kessel gets revenge on his old team, the Leafs, and Carey Price made 16 saves as Montreal beats Detroit. Mike?
And the Flames go to the power play. Little interference right there. Griffin Reinhart steps into Matt Stajan, buying Korpikoski some room to clear the zone, and that's all it took. And so for the Flames, it's been a very quiet stretch here offensively. Chance to get themselves back in the game, get this crowd back energized, if they can strike on the power play here.
Monahan, Gaudreau, Hoodler up front.
Wondering if Bob Hartley might try to send a message as by breaking up who he puts out here on the power play. As there are just some clock issues right now that are being explained to the coaches. Take 16 seconds off the clock.
Just to finish the alignment for you, Weidman and Giordano back at the blue line.
No Dougie Hamilton in his first unit.
This is Giordano. Fires a wrist shot through right on, and Hoodler parked right in front. A nice job with the screen, but Talbot was able to stay with it.
So they need a goal. They put out Giordano. They put out Dennis Weidman on the point. And no Dougie Hamilton as the adjustment period continues both 5-on-5 with Mark Giordano on the power play in all aspects for Dougie Hamilton early on in his career with the Calgary Flames.
And to be fair, even his coach saying it, a guy comes over, new team, new system, it's 10 to 20 games for him to adjust. This is Gaudreau. Fires it up. Hoodler down low, trying to get it out in front. He had Weidman drifting right into a nice shooting position. Here's Giordano, moves up, trying to cut around, and pocket picked by Klefbom, who gets it down the ice, and McClellan will hustle in a change of the penalty killers. Giordano winding his way forth. Gaudreau in over the blue line. Giordano. 1 minute to go on the power play for Calgary. They trail 4-1. A long way back in a short period of time to do it. Russell back. Perlin to his left. He gives it to him. Russell gets loose. Russell moves up, fired it across. A typical shot. Jones couldn't get his stick on it. Here's Hamilton, top of the point, tries to fire one through. Nice play by Hendricks to block it. Couldn't clear the zone, however. Russell with it. Drops it down low. Perlin looks around. Gets it back out. Hamilton shoots. Knocked down in front. Jones looking for it. Puck rolls around. Flames keep the pressure on. Hamilton slides it across. Jones parked in front. Comes back to Hamilton. Over to Russell. Jones top of the point. Looks over to the weak side, trying to one-time it was backwards, and it was blocked. And Sepper able to get it down the ice. Penalized player is back on.
Oiler bench responding to the penalty killers there. 3 big shot blocks. Keeping this a 3-goal lead.
And one by Hendricks particularly was a nice shot block. 1 shot on goal during that power play.
Heart and soul guy. And he's feeling it. He's got some in the finger. This one with the boot of his skate. Turns it over like a goalie. Kick save and a beauty. And Dougie Hamilton, this high rise is scary to come on in. I think it actually hits that Jones standing in front in the shoulder, but high traffic area flying in there.
Oilers have combined to block 16 shots tonight. Here's McDavid. Comes all the way around for drive up. Fires a wrist shot through. McDavid trying to get his stick on it. He chips it up. Pouliot back in the net. Hustling up there is Yakupov. Pouliot. And finally overcomes Giordano, rushing it back quickly, steps into the line. Upper station, gets it across. Juris into the corner. Penalty coming up. It's going to go against the Oilers. A hooking call. And the Flames will get a chance on the power play.
Connor McDavid, the first reach was okay as he caught Juris from behind trying to pick his stick up, but he gets caught on the backside, and when Juris turns right here, that's the little can opener tug on the hands that force, and McClellan says he's complaining he's just lifting his stick, but you saw when Juris turned, stick got into his hands, and I think that Tom McClellan, when he sees the replay, will realize that's not a bad call on Connor McDavid.
Power play unit, same as last time. Monahan, Gaudreau, Hoodler. And they mix up the points a little bit. Rather than Giordano, Weidman, it's Russell and Weidman. Russell walks it across. Dishes over. Puck fired through, tip in front. I believe Hoodler got a piece of it, and Talbot making the save and hanging on.
The Flames go to the sit-in play, the high slot tip. Johnny Gaudreau puts that right on the stick of Sean Monahan, who gets it down to Cam Talbot, who tracks it nicely. That's such a tough cover because Klefbom doesn't want to get too far away in front of the net. They put her all alone.
I thought it may have been double tipped. I thought Hoover maybe touched it there and the shot in, or the redirect of Monahan, but not the case as we saw in the replay. 1:40 to go in the power play for Calgary. Here comes Russell. Up to Monahan. Hoodler cruising up. Weidman. Gaudreau back to cover. Over to Russell. Shoots. Up for Weidman. Able to knock it down. Gaudreau. Monahan the high slot. Tried to go down low to Hoodler. Nice stick there from Klefbom, and he gets the puck out. One minute to go on the power play for the Flames. Puck worked up ahead. Coming in. Jones scores! And he gets the puck out.
October 17/2014. Calgary Flames into the Greenhouse Agents personal Microsoft Edge with 2 video player.
1 minute to go on the power play for the Flames. Puck worked up ahead. Coming in. Jones scores! Puck worked up ahead. Coming in. Jones scores! David Jones, and it's 4-2.
Nice move at the blue line and a good break on the shot. Andre Sekera tries to play defense moving forward, but if you miss badly, as he does right there, and then it's Mark Fane off his foot that caused the puck to go short side. Playfully made the blue line here. Nice read from Jones as Sekera trying to hold the blue line, but that is very risky. Playing defense moving forward. If you miss badly. And Jones, the quick hands right there to Dan Sekera, and then shot off the heel of Fane. No chance for Cam Talbot. And so shapes up for an interesting last 10 minutes here as Edmonton has to be repeated, still looking for their first win of the year.
Jones gets his third goal of the year. Wyman picks up his second point of the night, both assists. On the power play at 10:14. 42, Oilers leading. Bowling, throwing it in there. Backlund up after it. Nugent Hopkins. Ryba. This is Taylor Hall. Gets it up ahead. Nugent Hopkins wheels in, fires a wrist shot. Backlund. And the puck up ahead for a leak with it. It rolls around. Nugent Hopkins bashes it back in. And the Oilers hustle and change. Flames do likewise. Puck ahead for Raymond, and he was offside coming down the left side. 8:49 to go in the third period, trying to start the comeback. David Jones with his third of the year. Mike, a big part of Calgary's success last year was the bottom 6 guys who contributed.
Yeah, they brought energy, and they brought physicality, and they brought some production, and the fourth line has done a little bit of that tonight, creating chances, hitting the body, and of course 2 goals for Jones, who's been rewarded now no longer on the fourth line, up right where it is effectively the first line with Monahan and Gaudreau, but that's what made them so good last year, all those guys at the bottom of their lineup, as it's a jousting contest across the board at the face-off dot in the neutral zone. But those guys are so good from last year, hasn't been the case this year until tonight.
Russell plays it across for Wyman. And Jones with a couple of goals tonight. Wyman with a couple of assists. Fired up. Jones after it. Here's Gaudreau. Pouliot flips it ahead. Russell knocks it down. Monahan was looking for Jones. Say again, going back to last year, still lots of time for the Flames to come back in this one. Korpikoski fires it up there. Frolik swings it over the blue line. Just bouncing it off the glass, kind of flops down. Backlund going after it. Frolik over there in support. As they try to ferret that puck loose, they do. Back for Giordano, who got a decent shot away, and it's stopped and held. A day in the life of Canada's healthcare system. A life-changing new series. Keeping Canada Alive. Tomorrow at 9 on CBC.
next still 7-8 minutes will be part of the growth process for the Oilers. Getting in games where they're leading. Can they play the right way? Can they get these leads over the finish line?
Giordano pushing that one, but it was tipped well up out of play.
And do it not just by hanging back and hoping Cam Talbot stands on his head, but by playing and continue to push forward and make the right plays, the strong plays to doing, but not just sitting back and hoping.
Reinhart turned it over, and firing it was Perlin, and that is covered up and held by Talbot.
And the right plays right there, not turning it over behind your own end and giving it up for a good chance. You have full possession off of one drop. Drive up roughens to Reinhart, and he's got to make a good play. He's got lots of time, guy pressing on him. Get it along the wall, get it away from the guy stick attacking you. Instead, he turns it over, and Flames get a quick chance on Cam Talbot. When in doubt, it's always good to make the take pass. You appreciate that as a winger, the attempt. But when in doubt, the boards are always a safer option.
What are you seeing from your vantage point right beside the Oilers bench? Is it a mood of trepidation, confidence?
I think they're excited about where they are. The coaches are certainly doing a lot of coaching. They're up and down the bench, instructing and encouraging.
That wrist shot just missing, and then Giordano with one from the other side, knocked down. Here's Gaudreau, picks it up, tried to center it again. Eye on Monahan in the mid-slot. Gaudreau, they're trying to pick it up. Nugent Hopkins up for the Oilers, sweeps it along the boards to Taylor Hall, twisting and turning. Hall throws it all the way back. Puck bomb unloads off the board. In front, Hall jumping in there. He's got it now. Gets it out. Nugent Hopkins gets it in towards the front. And Hendricks couldn't get untangled. The puck cleared down the ice. And that is an icing call on Calgary. And just to sort of circle back to that point we were making earlier, Mike, about the wealth of great draft picks that the Oilers have had over these years, accumulating them, and you look into their poor point totals. And again, I think to a lot of hockey fans, they look at all of that talent and go, how could you struggle that much?
Sorry there, Paul. We're having a heated exchange right beside me between Matt Hendricks and the linesman. And I had to eat firmly depressed.
Here's Giordano. Works it across. Russell. Bowling fires it in. Raymond was up there looking for it. Russell steps in. Yakupov. Bowling. Here's Russell. Station. Raymond up there chasing after it. Center gets to it. Schultz. This is Weidman. Up there to Station. And couldn't get it out in front. McDavid.
Well, that's not a good decision by Connor McDavid. As he would have liked to skate that one to the red line, not have the ice. Tired group and not strong face-off guys on the ice right now for Calgary, and we'll see if Todd McClellan wants to take his time out or not. And he is, yes. He's not worried about any future interfere or possible coach's challenges with a 2-goal lead. He's just going to try to get his guys a rest with under 6 to play.
So, Mike, the point I was making a moment ago while you had the purple pros going on right beside you that you had to mute out, when you look at those point totals over the years and the wealth of high draft picks the Oilers were accumulating and were coming on, and yet the point totals disappointingly low. And you pointed to the fact earlier, and do you think it's as simple as that? Yeah, great forwards, no goaltending, no defense.
Yeah, man, and great young forwards, but not great at the NHL level. Great junior players, great international players, but not yet shown to be great at the NHL level. And teams are built for their defense on out. It doesn't matter how good you are offensively. If you don't get the puck out of your own end, then it's going to be hard to score goals. And they've shown that over the last 4, 5, 6 years. expectations this year are just to get better and play meaningful games later on in the year so that growth can continue as the players develop.
Here's Hoodler. Whips it up there, Ferland. Plays it back, and Russell not able to keep it in, and now the Oilers able to get in their chain. At the point, high draft
For Calgary group and not like to McDavid. Well, that's not a good decision by Tom McDavid. As he would have liked to skate that one to the red line, not tap the ice. Tired group and not strong face-off guys on the ice right now for Calgary, and we'll see if Todd McClellan wants to take his time out or not.
NHL October 17th.
And he is, yes. He's not worried about any. And he is, yes. He's not worried about any future or possible coach's challenges with a 2-goal lead. He's just going to try to get his guys a rep. Yeah, and great young forwards, but not great at getting to level. Great junior players, great international players, but not yet shown to be great. That growth to continue as the players develop.
Here's Hoodler. Whips it up. Stopped and held by Hiller. 5:37 to go, third period. Flames nipping at the heels of the Oilers.
We've talked about where the Oilers have finished, but all those bottom finishes get you top players, 4 first overall picks in the lineup, and wouldn't you know it, 4 goals from all those first overall picks. And Nugent Hopkins, and McDavid, and Hall, and why not Yakupov as well, as it has been a good night for the Edmonton Oilers so far.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say 4 first overall
That may never
picks.
happen.
Yeah.
Maybe with Quebec Nordiques, though. They had a lot of high-end guys there with Madsen. Maybe not 4, though.
Need.
You're probably right. I'm going with you. Well, listen, most teams are not bad enough long enough to get 4 first overall picks.
Exactly. It's a safe guess. Here comes Backlund. Kulak going for the front of the net as he jumped up into the play.
He led all rookies into maybe at that point a great player, but just a solid offensive contributor.
I like that point you brought up earlier, which is, I mean, physical tools, nobody would argue with that, but can he think the game to match his physical attributes? I think it's a great point by you.
I think the answer is no. I think his career already has shown that, but can he get into a place where he can still be effective playing with the other great players around? And that still remains to be seen. And Taylor Hall drawing another penalty. What a strong game for him. Keeping his feet moving, and Dougie Hamilton, again, gets caught reaching, trying to keep a puck in, and puts his stick right in the midsection of Taylor Hall.
I thought early on Nugent Hopkins had been the best Oiler on the ice tonight, but I would change my vote to Taylor Hall, who's just had a
when he's
strong
skating,
game.
he's such a powerful guy. He is tough to handle, and Dougie Hamilton saw it right there. He closed on him with speed and then the strength to draw the penalty going through him.
Hall held to only 53 games last year because of injuries, but back and looking good. Schultz works it across. Hall. Nugent Hopkins drops over along the half boards and takes the feed. He's taken cleanly, and thus the play breaks down. Anglin rushing it up. Bouncing the puck across. Punching it on goal there is Crowley. Talbot had to watch that. Puck comes to Lander, and back comes Hall flying down that left side. Lander, Nugent Hopkins up to join the attack. Oilers on the power play. Hall gets it back. This is Schultz looking, waiting, passing to Nugent Hopkins, who glances back towards Schultz. Can't get it to him. Giordano. Now Hall there to help out. Back for Schultz. Whips it across. Sekera. One-timer from Nugent Hopkins. Giordano got in front of it. Nugent Hopkins gets it over. Schultz fired one. Sekera. Nugent Hopkins up after it. Stick being held. Sekera gets it down to the corner. Hall in front, scores! McDavid! Sekera gets it over. Schultz fired one. Sekera. Nugent Hopkins up after it. Stick being held. Sekera gets it down to the corner. Hall in front. Fired one. Sekera. Nugent Hopkins up after it. Stick being held.
Down David. Go to team points over. All of a sudden, breakout night for Connor McDavid. 2 goals, 3 points. Connor McDavid on it.
3 home games for the first time since 2000-2001. And the Oilers will pick up their first win of the year. Bowling chops it wide. Kulak moving up after. Raymond gets it up, station back to the net. Greiba with him. Puck comes over to Kulak. Fires a wrist shot through. Picked up and held by Talbot.
So as fun as it's been for Edmonton right now, not so fun on the Calgary bench. And Bob Hartley is being quick to not rest on the tremendous season that they had last year, realizing that it's a new day, it's a new year, and what you did last year is not going to get you any points this year. TJ Brody's injury has not helped whatsoever their cohesiveness, and I think they're still looking to settle on a goaltender that gives them the chance they want every single night.
Well, TJ Brody, Mike, and then if you did miss it this past week, Lance Boma, who,
the heart and soul guy.
Yeah, broken left fibula, that's a big loss. And Sam Bennett not playing tonight unexpectedly. Upper body injury, as all we've been told.
That's every team's got those issues, but they're not helping Calgary.
Berlin going after it. Trying to step by Schultz. Talk about a battle of Alberta. It really hasn't been much of a battle the last few years. Edmonton has been so poorly, and Calgary's dominated it, winning the last 8 games between these two teams. 7, pardon me. First win in 8 games against the Flames for the Oilers if they can hang on. And I would bet totally that they will. Under a minute 30 to go. Russell skating back after. Foley. Tried to work it across. Maybe the back-to-back nights a little bit much this early in the season. I watched the Flames play last night. They looked good against Winnipeg.
They had their moments against Winnipeg. Yeah, they had the full 60-minute effort they're still searching for this year. We'll face the same challenge tomorrow night as they go into Vancouver back-to-back.
And we'll have that for you on Hockey Day in Canada. Puck steered in deep. Purcell trying to come up after it. Down to the final 30 seconds or so of this one. Raymond chops it in. So the Oilers will bug out quickly tonight. Fly into Vancouver. About an hour and a half flight from Calgary and get set to face the Vancouver Canucks in an earlier start over the 6:00 hockey team in Vancouver. Coming off of their best performance of the year, led by Samuel Phenom. Connor McDavid, one of them, with a 3-point night. They are full measure for a 5-2 victory over the Flames.
0 minutes, 9 seconds to 0 minutes.
3 stars tonight.
0 minutes, 10 seconds to 0
Connor
minutes.
McDavid,
3
star
seconds.
number 1. His hockey night in Canada debut, a memorable 1-2 goals and an assist. Taylor Hall. Strong performance, game-winning goal and a couple of assists. David Jones, 2 goals in the losing cause. 5-2 the final score. Edmonton over Calgary. George Stroumboulopoulos and the panel coming up on the other side of the break. That's the story here in Calgary. 5-2 the final.
Hello, Fake Sports fans. You're watching Fake Leaf coverage on the Fake Sports Network.